We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor.
Rebellious Jukebox on Frome FM.
Don't slow me down, baby.
Anyway, main thrust of the show tonight is an interview with Ian Cole that I recorded earlier in the week at the Frome FM studio. Ian is a hugely enterprising chap, and he relocated to Frome from York last year, and he runs a record label called Sinners Music. But he does have his fingers in many other pies too, as you will find out after this next track.
In the darkness there's a light, a cruel smile in St. Peter's eyes. He says, this time get it right. He says, this time get it right. He says, what have you learned from the time before? I'll send you down below for more. In the next life, can I talk to girls? I know that's where I went wrong. In the next life, I think I'll talk to girls. I know that's where it all went wrong. What, no recourse to prayer? No regrets about growing your hair. He says this time listen up. He says this time listen up. He says you learned nothing from the time before. I'll send you down below for more. In the next life, can I talk to girls? I know that's where I went wrong. In the next life, I think I'll talk to girls. I know that's where it all went wrong. It's where I 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 went wrong. If there's one thing I would ask you beneath these pearly gates, please don't send me back again till you fix some mistakes. You can send me back with passion, you can send me down with love, but meet me with some dignity, request it from above. Oh, the one thing I would beg you before you turn away, please don't send me back again until I've had my say. You can send me back with passion, you can send me down with love, and make me with some dignity. It's all I ever want. And he said, child, you'll take what you're given. It's a lottery up here in heaven. And in the next life, better talk to girls. I know that's where I went wrong.
And here is that interview with Ian Cole of Sinners Music. So welcome to the Rebellious Jukebox, Ian Cole.
Thank you.
So, like quite a few of the guests that I have on my show, you have a number of facets worthy of discussion, I think.
Thank you, yeah.
So let's talk about your record label first. So
right.
It never ceases to amaze me how often new musical happenings crop up in Frome, and whether that be artists or producers or venues. And, well, the other day I was looking for some material for the show, and I came across you and Sinners Music. And, well, you've been in Frome since last year. So give us a brief history of the label and
how it all started.
How you ended up in Frome.
Yeah, so the label started in 2006, and it was mainly originally for the bands that I was either playing in or working with. And we were just producing CDs. We weren't doing anything with vinyl, and it was the early days. Streaming hadn't really taken off to the extent that it has these days. So we put out. I was in a band called Ryan Shirlow and the Bloody Marys. We had a song called Sinners, which was a track that we put out on the CD. And then I thought, well, actually, I should create a record label. So that's how how the name came about.
As you do.
As you do, yeah. So we put out an album and a couple of singles. I'll be honest, they didn't sell that well, but we were the first band to sell ourselves on eBay. So we did a concert of somebody who bought us on eBay. We did have a manager, and that was all his organisation. Jump forward to round about 2012. Where my wife and I took over. We bought a music shop, and I needed a limited company, and I looked for Sinners Music, and Sinners Music Limited was there. So we tied all of that together. So the record label had been trundling on. Like I said, mainly working with, we weren't putting lots of material out in those few years. It was when either the Bloody Marys were doing something, or one or two other bands that I was in. And then once we had a music shop and we had a studio as part of that complex, he had about 6 or 7 rooms to this shop, this little sort of small town music shop. So I put a studio in there, and we started working with other artists in East Yorkshire. So we sold that just before the pandemic, the actual music shop, but I kept the limited company, and I wanted to keep the record label and devote more time to it. When I wasn't working in a music shop 6 days a week, it became much easier to actually sort of run a label and actually start working with artists more. Now we're really a not-for-profit, so. We don't take a salary. There's two of us. There's 2 directors, which is me and my wife. My wife isn't involved. She's usually involved in the music shop. But there are 2 of us actually actively involved in the label. One is me, and the other is a chap that I've met down here because I asked for help when I arrived here, and that's Jason Cook. We are helping other artists, as we did in East Yorkshire, really. We don't just work with local artists. I mean, we've put out music from artists in Australia, America, and then quite a few artists up and down the country here in England. Predominantly, we're non-generic in that sense. We've put out a comedy album for a guy. There was an 80-year-old chap that had been making music all his life and never been paid by a record label. We put out his final. Sadly, he's died, but his wife now gets his royalties from us, which is quite nice. So we like to work with those sort of people, really.
Sure. So, I mean, where do you recruit your artists from?
We don't we don't do written contracts, so we're not like we're more akin to the factory records approach to record label. We do number all of our items as well, so everything is a sin from sin 1 onwards. The next release I think is sin 85 or 86, something like that. That's down to Tony Wilson from Factory Records. We nicked that, really. So we don't actively look for artists. I mean, occasionally people will send us stuff. Usually what happens is we've we get to know people first, and then they know that we're doing a label, so we would then have a conversation. Although we don't have a contract, we have an information sheet which we hand out to all our potential artists. They don't have to sign it; they just get it. We basically agree they keep all their copyright. We take 20%. We're VAT registered, so it has to be plus 20%. We have a fixed fee for distribution, which a lot of the normal distribution companies for streaming and download, they have a yearly fee. Well, we're tied in with a Dutch distributor where we have one fixed fee. So if an artist is going to put an EP or an album out with us, they pay. Well, they don't pay in advance. We take that off the first royalties once that's paid, and it's a nominal fee. It's less than £10.
Sure. I was going to say, presumably these days it's not necessary for one to meet people in order to release their music. Exactly.
We have, having said that, we have met all of our artists either online or in person.
Right.
So I'm involved in a synthesizer podcast on a Saturday afternoon as a guest, and some of the artists have come through there because we have a conversation about what we've done each week, and people who watch that show on YouTube know that I've got a record label. And in fact, the guy running that YouTube channel, which is Ranzi, he is in Australia, and he's our Australian artist, and we put out his last album. And in fact, we are now talking about putting out all of the rest of his albums, which are currently through another distributor where he's paying yearly, and he would rather come to us, and the distribution costs are cheaper.
So, well, I mean, I think you said to me in your email, you've got a distribution deal with a subsidiary of Sony Music.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, is that just for digital sales, or does that get CDs in shops?
No, it doesn't. It's just digital. I mean, up until recently, we were not doing. We certainly don't do vinyl, although we're happy to help an artist if they're going to, upfront those costs for a vinyl release. We have started to do CDs, and we're doing that in house. So we're doing basically white label versions of all of our artist music. We've bought a CD duplicator to do that, so we can make a master disc, and from there we're doing. They look like little vinyl CDs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we've started doing that over the last few months.
Okay. Okay. So do you have to like all the music that you put out on the label?
No, I don't really. I mean, I have to like the people. I mean, it's very for me. It's very much about people, and we did turn down a band. We started working with a band, and we took them into a recording studio to record an album, and then clearly there wasn't going to be the right sort of relationship. So I stepped away, and I helped them find other alternatives to put their music out. But I don't like dealing with egos, to be fair, if I'm honest. So people with egos, I'm not really interested. So that's the only time that's happened. And usually before we because we are tying ourselves into a long-term relationship with an artist, we're going to be collecting their royalties for, as long as Sinner's music is going.
Sure. So
we have to get on, really, so we don't do arguments.
No, that's good.
In that respect, Yeah, we might disagree about putting something out. There was a single that we were going to put out, and I didn't like the cover, so we had a conversation, and it's been changed. So they're usually small things to try and make it better. Like I usually have input into the sequencing of an album. Okay. Not always, but usually I would have some input.
Yeah, I mean, that was crucial once, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, now you can listen to anything in any order you like, but I still, my favourite albums, which
Yeah,
tracks
exactly, yeah. So, I mean, we would have a conversation about that, really. I mean, and we're zero budget for marketing, so it's all done through social media and email. That's how we emailed you Julian, because
Yeah.
I'll build up to it.
Take a pinch of crazy, not quite miss the paving. It's independent lady. I'll try to keep up. Well, you won't make bubbles me. Tell big trouble machine. Now that maybe I know well you need to say, yeah. What a lady takes makes you feel amazed. All this gonna praise, I can't keep up. Well, big bubbles mean one big trouble machine. Got a couple more things I do it, say it, yeah.
So the first track you heard there was by Mo, that's spelled M-H-O. That was called Contact from his album Blueprint. Mo, otherwise known as Dave Walker, he began his foray into making electronic music at school when he built a Transcendent 2000 synthesizer and an ETI string synth, as the Polymoog synth at the time cost about as much as a house. So yeah, that's Mo, and that was followed by a band from Bruton actually called Ramshackle. That track was called Big Trouble Machine. Their album is coming out very soon. It's called Who's Keeping the Lights On. Ramshackle are Jason, Johnny, Tom and Meg, and both those albums are released by the Sinners Music record label, which is the project of Ian Cole, and you are listening to me talking to Ian earlier this week in the Frome FM studio.
Rebellious Jukebox, yeah. Rebellious Jukebox, oh.
This is the Rebellious Jukebox on Frome FM, and here's Ian. So you're an artist yourself.
Yes.
You released music under the name Ian J. Cole.
Yeah.
So what's your background there? Did you play instruments from a young age, or have you come at it from a computer
No,
angle?
I played my first instrument would be piano, although I'm self-taught. I did have one piano lesson back in when my early, probably I was about 18 or 19. But I'm pretty much self-taught, really. I can read music, and I can also play guitar and other things. I mean, having played in bands since the age of 14, originally as a bass player, which I was very bad at. I was terrible as a bass player. The band, it was one of the first bands. It was the first band I ever played with. And the band said, "Yeah, we'd like you in, but you're a rubbish bass player. Why don't you learn to play keyboards?" So that's, I went out and...
You did?
I went out and bought a keyboard, yes, So, I mean, my own music these days, predominantly, I do sort of more experimental electronic music.
Yeah.
Some of it's ambient, some of it's not, really. I did write all the songs for a band called Kate and the Questions, which is currently dormant, but I am planning to put some music out later this year if I find a singer.
Okay. So, I mean, you sent me some of your albums to listen to, and I had a listen when I was eating my lunch day, actually. I was listening to the Fraser Syndrome.
Oh, yes, that's the latest one.
Which I liked a lot. And, tell us about the inspiration behind that, because it's a very interesting concept when I was reading about it.
Yeah, I usually like to have a concept. So, and I bought a photograph, and it was a photograph of a building. It's an art centre in Reykjavik, and there's an Australian artist who basically does very lifelike drawings on buildings. He does it all over the world. And I had this picture, not knowing the background to the picture, but then started to research it. And apparently the picture that this artist had drawn on this art centre was based on No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. And now, I'll be honest, I didn't really know No Exit, but fundamentally, to give a very brief description of what happened, it's three people, and they're going to spend all of eternity in a room together, and that is Sartre's idea of hell. So it's not flames and all the rest of it, but the Fraser Syndrome title comes from it is an actual disease where you can't close your eyelids. So these people were in this room with no natural light, forever having to talk to each other. They can't sleep, they can't close their eyes. So that's why So I went down this rabbit hole of finding more and more about this, and all of the tracks in there, with the exception of one which started life in 2016, but all of the other tracks were based around the idea of no exit and the fact of So some of it's quite challenging and quite dark, but not all of it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
You're listening to me talking to Ian Cole of Sinners Music, and that track there was Ian himself, released under the name Ian J. Cole, and that's part of the opening track from his most recent album, which is called The Fraser Syndrome. That track's called Frightened of Clichés. And, well, if you're listening on Mixcloud, I will put that track on the end of the show in its entirety. But obviously I can't fit that all in when we're on the radio. But yeah, you're listening to the Rebellious Jukebox on Frome FM 96.6 FM and online at frome.fm and possibly on your smart speaker. Now back to Ian. So did you play the trumpet on there then, or is that a sample?
Yes,
you did.
It's not a real trumpet,
right?
It's I play a thing called a linktr, which is a grid based. It's a MIDI controller without getting too technical, but basically it will play sounds from any instrument. So it won't get me all of the articulation of a trumpet or a violin, but it'll get me pretty close. So yes, I played the trumpet. I played all of the instruments on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Handy man to have around. Yeah. So do you do any live performance?
Yes.
Now?
In fact, I've been playing. I mean, there's a movement called the Electronic Open Mic Night movement, which is EMOM, and they're up and down the country. They're all over the world, actually. But I was very active in the ones around Yorkshire, in York and Hull and Leeds, and they've started one up in Wales down here.
Right.
And I've played that twice. I'm playing it again at the end of February, and I'm also playing this coming Saturday at the Frome Break Block Beats.
I was going to ask you about if you'd heard of that.
I signed up before we arrived.
Breeze Block Beats,
Breeze Block Beats, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. No,
Yeah.
It kept changing venue, and every venue it went to was good.
Yes,
like underground or something like that. It was really quite spooky, some of them. But now, the current venue they have is literally just down the road from where I live. But I haven't actually been to that venue yet.
I didn't go last time because I was in London that night. But I went the first time they did a night there. So I've been to two while I've been here in Frome.
Right. Okay, that's good.
But so and it's
and you're performing there.
I am.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I was gonna suggest that actually. I have got this Saturday. I can go out, but I was gonna go to another gig actually, but I don't know. So many things to do in Frome.
Yeah. But that's partly the reason we moved to Frome because we were leaving East Yorkshire mainly because my wife's parents are in Devon, and our boys and their wives live in London, and we've got other family in Southampton. So we wanted somewhere in the south or southwest. And we looked almost everywhere apart from Frome until my eldest son, who got married last year, said, "You should look at Frome." We looked at a wedding venue there. It's your sort of place. There's lots of art. There's lots of music. There's so much going on. And we literally looked at Chippenham and all around the area.
Yeah,
you know,
I did the same.
And when we came for a coffee on the way back from one of our house-looking trips, and we went, right, this is it. And we had 6 visits down. A couple of them we came literally and did it in the same day. Just looking at housing.
Yeah.
So we come down, look at 3 or 4 houses in a day, and then go back. And it took us a while to find.
Yes, well, a couple of things. I did the same thing. I had a mate in Frome, so I'd been here a couple of times. I knew what the sort of community spirit was like. I happened to come down here on the night they turned the Christmas lights on. I couldn't believe the sort of engagement from the. Yeah. But I work for an engineering company, so I kept my job. So I work from home now. But I thought I needed, at the time, 2015, I thought I needed to stay a bit closer to the motorway or whatever. So we looked at Corsham and all these places, and we came here, and that was it. No choice. And funny enough, my wife lived in Frome in about 1978, but that wasn't why we moved here either. It was just one of those things. But the other thing, I mean, you're from Leeds.
I'm from York.
York, sorry.
Yeah.
I quite often have to go to Leeds and York, and it's horrible getting up to that side of the country from here.
It absolutely is. In fact, I went back up in October because part of the other thing I do, I have a YouTube channel which is all about music and art. It's not just about me. But some of the Sinners music still gets put. And we were asked to go and review a film festival up there. So they have a short film festival. So it's great to actually go back. I stayed with some friends. I took Jason, who helps with the label up there, and we filmed just little reviews of the films that we saw each day. So it was really good to go back to my hometown as almost a tourist to some extent.
Good. I've done the same. So. I was going to say, I mean, you've got a website, Sinners Music website, anyone can find that, and there's links to all sorts of things. So you've got this YouTube channel, which is music and art, basically. So there's all sorts of stuff on there. There's you giving a tour of your studio, there's stuff about recording, about vinyl records, about setting up guitars. But the title clearly states music and art. So what are the sort of art things that you're referencing there?
It's really theatre and performing arts more than anything else. I mean, I regularly like to go to art galleries. I was in Bath last Friday looking at some art. So that's always a thing that I'm interested in. But so every year for the last 10 years, we've gone and reviewed Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So Jane, that's the only involvement my wife Jane has in the channel, and she will actually go and we'll go up there as reviewers, and we will review things that we're interested in really. And we went up for 12 days last year, and we reviewed over I think 35 shows, and we would do a video. We would upload the videos the next day. So we'll film our little. We don't talk about what we've seen until we actually do it in front of camera.
You do it, okay.
And we don't always agree.
The Rebellious Jukebox, purveyor of quality music since 2018.
So you've also got a couple of online stores where you've got musical instruments, electronic components, other interesting stuff. So you obviously keep yourself very busy. So presumably all this stuff allows you to eke out a half-decent living without having to stack shelves in your spare time.
I don't need to.
Which is great.
I'm not loaded. I'll say that.
No, but, it's hard, isn't it? It's a hard industry
it is,
So on top of that, and rather worryingly for me, you also host a monthly radio show. So tell us a bit about that.
Right. So it's called the Audiophile Radio Show. Jane picked the name right at the beginning. It was originally on a community radio station in East Yorkshire. That closed down after a couple of years. It was then moved to another online station in York, which then after a couple of years closed down. But I wanted to keep it going. We put it out on streaming services. So it's on a podcast provider called Podbean, but that streams it to Apple Music. Sometimes it gets streamed to some of the other streaming channels as well. But it's really about left field underground music, stuff that you wouldn't hear on Radio 1, 2, 3, really. Actually, you might hear some of it on Radio 3, if I'm honest.
Fairly similar to Frome FM.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's, so, and I've been playing some of the bands that I've seen around here.
Great.
So.
And that's once a month, yeah?
Once a month, yeah. First of the month, so I'll be preparing it soon, later this week.
Okay. Well, thanks ever so much for coming on the show. For anyone listening, I do recommend that you have a browse around the Sinners Music website. There's loads of music to discover, but also a wealth of information if you follow the links to the YouTube channel. And best of all, Ian is in Frome, so do keep an ear out for anything that he might be up to in the future. And as I said, you're at Breeze Block Beats on Saturday. And are you on the usual social media channels too?
I am still on Twitter, but I don't go there, or X as it's now called. I am on Blue Skies, Ian J. Cole.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. I'll be honest with you, I don't use Facebook very much. And I am on, we have Instagram for Sinners Music, which Jason's running, and then I have the Ian J. Cole on Instagram as well. I don't tend to talk about the label very much on my channel, although I'll copy things over for if Jason sends me stuff. I'm doing, like today I did random record of the day. So out of my CD collection, I just randomly picked a record and stuck it on, and just talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, cool.
I'm also on TikTok as well.
So have I missed anything? You've got so many things going on.
Not really. I think we pretty much covered. Yeah, we've pretty much covered most of it.
That's great. Well,
I can't think of anything we missed out really. I mean, the apart from just being on streaming services. You can get all this stuff from our sinnersmusic.co.uk website, but Bandcamp is the usual place that we put music out first. Yeah. We've got a couple of releases coming. There's one on the 7th of February. We've got a local band. I think they're all based in Bruton. That's Ramshackled. Their debut album's coming out with us. That's on pre-order on Bandcamp now. That won't be on streaming services for 6 to 8 weeks. The way we normally work is we'll put an album out on Bandcamp first, and then, like I say, after about 6 or 8 weeks, it will come on to streaming services. When the artist wants that, really. Yeah. We're doing a thing later on in February. There was there was a group of short stories that a friend of mine in York edited. He didn't write them all, but they were written by a number of authors. So I think there's going to be 5 short stories. They're about 20 minutes, half an hour each. I did the music and the sound design for each of them, and we're going to put them out as a double album. So that'll be towards the end of February. That's called An Endless Sky. Great. Well, really good to meet you. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, please do keep in touch with Frome FM and let us know what you're up to. And, thanks a lot for coming in.
Oh, thank you. It's brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. Lovely.
Great. Okay. final track there from the Sinners Music collection. That was the Wave Prophets, and that was a track called World of Joy. And the Wave Prophets are apparently a random group of individuals who wish to remain anonymous. So thanks very much to Ian for coming in and talking to me. That was a great interview. Really interesting chap. Ian, don't forget, Ian is performing at Breeze Block Beats on Saturday. That's at the Lucky Chance Theatre down in Frome. Thanks very much for listening. Good night. And if you're listening on Mixcloud, here is that full-length version of the track by Ian J. Cole, Frightened of Clichés.